welcome back to Tammy Talks About. So, we're going to do a new video today. I'm trying to get back on that schedule. I hope you enjoy it. This is from a tweet courtesy of Real Laura B, and it is an article that was in World Socialist website news. Before we get into this video, let me just quickly let you know we are trying to set up a live stream for this afternoon, this evening on this channel. I don't have the times yet or anything. Just keep an eye out. I will put it up as soon as I get everything situated. It will be just like our Sunday night talks used to be. It will be me, Keely Talks, your boy Gary, and who knows who else might show up. So be looking for that this afternoon if you don't have plans, and join us. It's always a great time. I haven't done one in a long time, and I'm looking forward to it. So come and join the fun. All right, so let's get into this video. Yeah, I need to get back into my shilling. If you like this video, leave me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think, and of course, as always, feed that algorithm and share this video. If you haven't subscribed here, feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you join us on this journey. So, the title of this article, Kevin Eugene Smith, son of famed journalist, discusses MGM's burying of Minimata. This is the third in a series of discussions on Minimata, a new movie by Andrew Levitas. In addition to our original review, the film featuring Johnny Depp focuses on the industrial poisoning of Japanese fishing communities by the Chiso Corporation in Minamata, and the courageous work by acclaimed photo essayist W. Eugene Smith, who Depp plays, and his wife, Eileen Miyoko Smith, to expose this crime to global audiences during the early 1970s. This work is memorialized in their book Minimata, A Warning to the World. The first of these discussions was with photographer Stephen DuPont, a winner of the W. Eugene Smith Grant for Humanistic Photography in 2007. The second with acclaimed Australian documentary photographer Jack Picone. The following interview is with Kevin Eugene Smith, a lawyer, former television producer, and journalist, and the manager of the photographic estate of his father, W. Eugene Smith. While Minimata has been successfully released in several countries, New Zealand, Australia, Russia, Ireland, the UK, Japan, France, and later this month, Italy, MGM, which purchased the rights to distribute this film in North America, has not released it in the US. The company, which is being taken over by Amazon, has refused to give any date when it will be screened in North American cinemas. It's ridiculous. In July, director Levitas revealed that he had been told by MGM's acquisitions head, Sam Wallerman, that the company was burying Minimata over concerns that the personal issues of Johnny Depp could reflect negatively on MGM. The company's arrogant and censorious actions constitute an outrageous attack on all those involved in the film's production, including Eileen Miyoko Smith, who was the co-author of the book on which it was based, as well as the victims and the families of those poisoned by Chiso. Kevin Eugene Smith, who lives in Pasadena, California, spoke to WSWS by phone last week. This is an edited version of the conversation. What brings us together in our shared concern about MGM's refusal to announce a date for the release of Minimata in North America, let alone provide any reason for this unprecedented delay? Why do you think the studio is doing this? Smith answers, as you know, I've been quite active on Twitter and Facebook expressing my feelings about the non-release of this film. These are in line with the feelings of the director Andrew Levitas and the Johnny Depp team. It's absolutely shameful that MGM has acquired the rights to this very important film, but has not released it. This is not just because it is about my dad, who was a legendary and heroic photojournalist, but because it is a very serious story about the victims of corporate greed and environmental poisoning. MGM acquired distribution rights in good faith. They scheduled an initial North American release date of February 5th, 2021. And then because of the beer bug, they postponed it. That was quite justifiable. A lot of movie theaters here in the US were closed. But inexplicably, they've now released a slate of films that were made after Minimata. All these movies have been heavily promoted on social media, but there's nothing about Minimata. Director Levitas issued his public and very strongly worded rebuke of MGM back in July, accusing them of burying the film and attributing it to their take on Johnny Depp's personal situation. What I'm seeking now is actual honesty from MGM. They've been mum on the subject, and that's what's upsetting me the most. They issued a kind of corporate one or two sentence response to Levitas, saying that the film is handled by one of their subsidiaries and that it's in the pipeline or some garbage like that. This was not an answer. We deserve answers, and so does the viewing public. That's evident in the discussions on social media and in your interview with Stephen DuPont, which I've repeatedly republished on Facebook and Twitter. DuPont's statement encapsulates my thought completely. This is not about Johnny Depp. Who cares what his personal problems are? The film was licensed to Depp's company by Eileen Mielko Smith, a very serious individual and my dad's co-creator of the Minimata project. Eileen licensed it because she was determined to get the story out about the Minimata victims and for those still alive and suffering to this day who have not yet received full reparations from the Chiso Corporation. This movie is their story, and Eileen licensed the film in good faith. I don't know Mr. Depp personally, but he agreed to star in the film, for which I'm truly grateful. I know nothing about his personal problems, but as Stephen DuPont said, we don't know what went on in the marriage. It's between two people. He accuses her, she accuses him, but there are no criminal charges. People seem to forget that the lawsuits have been brought by Depp to clear his name. Nobody is prosecuting him. There aren't 10 women accusing him. In fact, an ex-wife and other women in his life have come out and defended him. As DuPont says, all this is beside the point. Depp is an actor in a movie role, and the story is the film. MGM, whatever its reason, is not just punishing Johnny Depp. There are other actors, a director, a cinematographer, and many more people who have done terrific work on this movie. We are owed an explanation from MGM as to what the heck they're doing, and I can assure you that I'm pursuing this every day on social media. I'm passionate about this. I don't have any evidence, but in my personal opinion, it's tied up with the acquisition of MGM by Amazon Studios. I think they're skittish about doing anything controversial or even seemingly controversial that might cause a bad publicity until the deal goes through. As you know, there's an army, hundreds, maybe thousands of people on social media onto this, demanding MGM and Amazon release the movie. Maybe that'll tip the scales. RP asks, Amazon and others have a track record on this. It's used the hashtag MeToo style allegations to bury other films. Woody Allen had to sue Amazon after it refused to release one of his movies, A Rainy Day in New York, in 2019. There's also Jacques, an officer and a spy, in 2019. Roman Polanski's last film has not been released in US, Canada, or Australia. So-called reputational issues are used to block or censor films. That's ridiculous. And he answers, yes, but then I can only answer your question with a question. If MGM was concerned about the film, then why did they acquire the distribution rights to the film in the first place? Sometimes media corporations acquire something for the specific purpose of burying it. We had the situation with the National Enquirer and Trump. They paid a six-figure amount to one of his alleged mistresses in order to stop her story from being published and to prevent her from selling it to someone else. But I don't think that's the case here. The allegations against Depp were out there even before they started shooting Minimata. I've compiled a list of serious journalists, about a dozen of them, who cover the business of Hollywood. I've sent my first message to someone in the New York Times, but nobody over here is diving into this. Levitas's open letter to MGM was only recently publicized in Deadline, a kind of niche online publication. Nobody else picked it up. Variety didn't. nor did the Hollywood Reporter or the LA Times. I used to be a television business reporter in Los Angeles covering Hollywood and would have been all over this story. Here's a story involving a superstar, a takeover of MGM, a legendary brand by one of the most powerful companies in the world. I'd compare it in some ways to Citizen Kane, although maybe not on the same scale, but you certainly have powerful interest trying to bury a film. Why aren't they covering this? Why aren't they demanding answers from MGM and Amazon? Maybe it's because the trade publications are too cozy with MGM and too reliant on them for interviews, exclusives, and that sort of thing. Whatever the case, they're stonewalling it. I'm the one who started tagging Amazon on social media. It's obviously hard to gain the attention of Jeff Bezos, the richest guy in the world, but he owns the Washington Post and changed its masthead to Democracy Dies in Darkness, which is a pretty good slogan. He's supposed to be interested in serious and investigative journalism. Maybe I'm Don Quixote and living in a fantasy land. Again, I appreciate what you're doing, but I think MGM and Amazon would have a tougher time if the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, or LA Times did a big story on this and demanded a comment. I'd like to get it distributed this year and could talk for another half hour about why that's necessary. Why do you like the film? The reporter answers, it's an excellent movie on every level. It introduces a new generation to the brilliant contribution your father made to the art of photography and photojournalism. It deals with the problems that he struggled with in the aftermath of World War II while never losing sight of the essential foundations of the story, the exposure of a corporate crime. The movie also captures your father's fighting spirit and the fact that he had little patience with editors or publishers who failed to present his work properly. All serious photographers or photojournalists have experienced this on some level. Minimata is worth fighting for. Smith answers, compared to the garbage movies that are out in cinemas, this is quality, thoughtful, and a well-crafted film. The scenes that resonated most with me were those in New York prior to my dad and Eileen arriving in Minimata. I think Bill Nye, as the Life magazine publisher, a fictitious composite character, deserves an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Even though the movie takes liberties with some details and the timeline, it's true to the story's moral core, and its mission is honest. That's all I care about, really care about. Depp's portrayal of my dad, never having met him, is earnest and honest, and I want it to be seen. As you say, it's attracting attention to my father's work and his legacy. Many of the legion of Depp fans fighting to get the film released probably had not even heard of Eugene Smith. And the reporter says, under conditions where the mainstream media is so sanitized and politically controlled, Minimata's subject matter, a photojournalist determined to expose the mercury poisoning of a whole community, is highly significant. The movie, moreover, does not conclude with some bogus happy ending. It issues a challenge and emphasizes that the surviving Minimata victims are still dealing with this. Smith answers, I don't think there ever was anything in my dad's life that had a happy ending. You can quote me on that. And yes, this issue isn't going to go away. And as you can see from my social media posts, I'm going to keep at it. Porter asks, how old were you when your father was in Minimata? And do you have any particular memories from that period and from when he returned? This article goes on for quite a while. I'll leave a link to it in the description box. I know this video has went on for a while. This is important. This is an important subject. This is an important film. And it needs to be seen. I have heard from people who have seen this film. This is an Oscar contender. Yet MGM is hiding it. And none of the mainstream media are willing to touch it. So it's up to us. Go to your social media. Tag in Amazon, MGM, and demand. You know, I gave you the numbers and the address to write them a letter and call them. Do whatever you can. But let's let MGM know and Amazon know that this will not be tolerated. And if you can hear my child screaming in the background, please forgive me. I don't know what's going on up there. I'm not doing this again. But please do whatever you can. We've got to fight because nobody else is willing to fight for it. Well, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you see how important this is. These victims deserve better. Mr. Smith's memory deserves better. This film deserves better. Let's help him get it. Until next time.